going, everybody? So we've got a fun review today as we're talking John Wick Chapter 4. It's never a dull time when there's a new John Wick film to talk about. Each entry so far is just sheer badass action movie spectacle to the highest degree, and I can't get enough of it. Who would have thought all those years ago watching the first John Wick, not only would that film spawn a franchise, but a franchise that continues to raise the bar for the action film genre as a whole. In Chapter 4, we follow John Wick uncovering a path to take down the High Table, but before he can earn his freedom, he must face off against a new enemy with powerful alliances across the globe and forces that turn some of his old friends into foes. The biggest component to why this franchise is so awesome to me is the action sequences. I mean, I do think the story itself in John Wick is pretty interesting, seeing John Wick face off against the High Table, but it's the fights and the stunts that we go into these films wondering, how can they even top the last one? Because it seems like with every single sequel, they try and raise the bar with the stunt level, the creativity, and just the overall action atmosphere that they create. Unlike many other franchises that falter as we get more and more installments and overstay their welcome, this franchise, the John Wick franchise, is the exact opposite. I think John Wick Chapter 4 is even better than any of the other John Wick films. And I love each and every John Wick film. It's just the John Wick Chapter 4 somehow finds a way to continue to crank the non-stop action into a completely new gear I didn't even know you could elevate towards. If a rush of pure adrenaline could be condensed into a feature-length film, it would be John Wick Chapter 4. There are just so many moments while watching John Wick Chapter 4 where my jaw basically was just on the floor the entire time, just due to the sheer amount of brutal, thrilling, and non-stop action sequences that are relentlessly entertaining. Also just impressively creative on a stunt level. I don't have an official number by any means. I tried my best to actually count the amount of people that were dropping as the film progressed. I lost count probably after like an hour, but this has to be the biggest body count of any of the John Wick films. Just the sheer volume of people that John Wick takes out and other characters take out over the course of the film across the globe, it's kind of mind-blowing. Along with the fact that John Wick is taking all these people out in extremely creative ways, just awesome action all around. One of the biggest standout moments for me with the John Wick action is there's a sequence in here where he uses this shotgun, the Dragon's Breath shotgun. Mind-blowing. One of the best sequences in the entire franchise. That's a moment I guarantee is going to get a lot of cheers with a big crowd of people. Honestly, there's a handful of sequences in Chapter 4 I think could be considered franchise best. There's one in particular that really stands out to me in a stairwell. A lot of these fight sequences go on for quite a long time. I mean, of course, we have quite an extended runtime for Chapter 4, and it's utilized perfectly for these extended, amazing action sequences. Considering what happened to John at the tail end of Parabellum, I do think the stakes are raised pretty high in general for Chapter 4, and the character work and general narrative at times can feel a bit lacking. It is very straightforward, but I think it's structured mostly in a solid way that you're always going to be intrigued by what's unfolding as John Wick is going around the globe pretty much the entire film trying to figure everything out and taking out people along the way. A big benefit that John Wick traveling around the globe is getting to see all of these various gorgeous locations. The cinematography in Chapter 4 I think is a franchise best. I think this is the best the franchise has ever looked. Obviously the action benefits the most from the great cinematography, but there are just so many sequences in the film that just look breathtaking, like when we're in Tokyo. As to be expected, Keanu Reeves is excellent back again as John Wick. I honestly think he's getting better and better in each and every installment. You can definitely tell he's improving each and every film. His dedication to the action sequences and the stunt work alone always is one of the biggest highlights for me. And even if necessarily most people don't go into this expecting Keanu Reeves to give a great performance acting-wise, I do think he has some good scenes in here where he really shines. It's interesting to see where we continue to go with the character of John Wick as we're, I guess, maybe heading towards a conclusion. We'll see how that goes. Actually, even outside of Keanu Reeves, I think the film benefits a lot from having such an amazing supporting cast around him. You have your usual supporting players from the John Wick franchise returning once again: Lawrence Fishburne, Lance Reddick, Ian McShane, all of them fantastic in their own right, but I loved a lot of this newer supporting cast for John Wick Chapter 4, like Bill Skarsgård. I had a lot of fun anytime his character popped up on screen, but I think the big three scene stealers in John Wick Chapter 4 are Hiroyuki Sanada, Donnie Yen, and the most surprising surprising out of all of them is Rina Sawayama, who I'm a big fan of. I love her music, but I was not expecting her to be this badass character in Chapter 4. Anytime each of these characters were on screen showcasing their fighting prowess, I was hype. All of them get so many moments to show off how badass they are, particularly Donnie Yen. I mean, Donnie Yen is Donnie Yen, but seeing Donnie Yen fight in a John Wick film, that's a dream come true. Ever since it was announced, one of the big things I know a lot of people have been talking about is that runtime, the extended, hefty runtime of almost 3 hours, which is interesting when you look at the trajectory of the John Wick franchise. Every single installment has been longer than the last one, so maybe John Wick Chapter 5 is going to be 3+ hours, 3.5 hours, but I do think in general it does warrant that hefty runtime. I think it earns it. The film definitely starts out slow, but once you're in the thick of the film, it's amazing. Also, I do think the ending itself could be kind of divisive, so that's just your warning there. But all around, I had an absolute blast with John Wick Chapter 4. It is one of the best action movies I've seen in a very long time, continuing to raise the bar for action films in general. I don't know how you can top a film like this just on a sheer stunt level, choreography level. John Wick is the most badass and violent we've ever seen him in this entry, and they're going to continue to be this great. I'm excited for more John Wicks. Usually, as we get more and more installments in a franchise, I'm more weary of the results, but somehow they continue to get better and better as they go on. So make sure you share your thoughts down below once you get a chance to check out John Wick Chapter 4. Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? How are you feeling about the future of the franchise? But share your thoughts down below, and thank you guys as always for checking out the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel so I always update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. But next time, I'll see you guys later.